Everybody, this is Darren with HENSON, and you're watching and listening to the In the Groove podcast. Now, today we're going back into film. We have with us today an extraordinary individual that I'm really excited to introduce you to. When I met her, I actually saw a short film of hers that blew my mind. In the Groove studio today, we have director-producer Michelle Adams. Welcome.
Hi, nice to meet you.
In person,
yeah,
right?
In person.
We've been talking for almost over a year by telephone, but this is the very first time that we met.
In person.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm incredible. You're as beautiful as you are on
thank you.
On the internet and just as kind and I feel kind of shy. Yeah, you're kind of shy.
Not too shy, but
not too shy.
Yeah.
So how's the holidays been for you?
Oh, it's been great actually. I'm trying to get everything together with my film, the release, and
awesome,
all of that. So that's been keeping me really busy.
Johnny Bookstore.
Hey, beautiful. How you doing?
Yay! Fuck you! I will not continue to do this with you, Jess.
I've seen marriages come together after the abuse. And that's because there were deeper issues going on.
Give me my son back!
We all at some point in our lives become a prisoner of love.
Before we jump into that, I want to talk about this other film that I saw that was like amazing, and it really blew my mind because people send me things all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, you got to read my script. And I'm like, yeah, I have time to sit down and read 150 of your pages, right?
Yeah.
And, people send me stuff all the time, and I'm like, I think you need to let somebody look at this, and edit or, listen to the sound. But you sent me a project and you said, look, just take a look at it. And it really made me go, this woman has something. Tell everybody the name of that project and what it was about.
It's Abysmal Ties. And it was about a couple. I actually wrote it as a feature film, but I decided to compress it into a short film.
It was a romantic film.
It was a romantic film.
It was shot beautifully. It was almost shot, to me, in my opinion, although it was, it had the feeling of a film noir to me.
Yeah.
Vibration to it. Mm-hmm. And it really captured me, but there was a twist to this film. I don't want to give it away if people haven't seen it. Tell the people what the name of the film is again.
Abysmal Ties.
Abysmal Ties. And where can they see it? Can they see it?
I haven't released it on a platform yet. I'm working on that, trying to get it released to a platform. But,
okay. And it's a little difficult because it's a short.
It's a short. And it has to be so many minutes.
But the great thing is people are signing shorts now.
Yes.
I don't know if you knew that.
I found that out.
But they're signing shorts. I mean, I've been seeing it all over. So it's sometimes when our projects are birthed, it could be incredible, but we have to wait for everybody else to catch up. And I think 2023 might be that time for you because people are signing shorts now.
Yes.
So Abysmal Ties, I think, would be perfect. I think everyone's
asking me about it, and I was like, I have it. It's coming.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to give away the twist in the film. Clearly, we don't want to do spoiler alerts. But what I can say about your film was you poetically put it together where I did not know what happened at the end. Was a complete and total shock for me. And that's not easy for me. Like, films tell on themselves sometimes. Like, I can read,
in between
a quarter, quarter away in the film, and I'm like, I know what's gonna happen here, right?
Yeah.
Because they aren't creative enough. I can't say that about you. You were incredibly creative, the way that you narrated and directed this film. So kudos to you, Abysmal
Thank you.
Ties.
I appreciate it.
Hopefully everybody will see this
Yes.
in 2023. But moving forward, you didn't stop there. You went on to do another film that actually is coming out this year.
Yes.
And you have a film premiere coming up.
Yes.
We're gonna talk about this film, and we're gonna talk about some of the players in the film who I know.
Yeah.
One of my friends in the film, Omar, and who I think is an amazing talent, who everybody knows is the brother of Cuba.
Yes.
Gooding, and he's just a brilliant actor.
Yes, and he just put that little twist to the film. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's an incredible human being.
He is.
Before we get into the film, tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Nolans.
No.
Now it's so amazing because you don't have a New Orleans accent.
Everyone says that.
You don't have a New
No,
Orleans
I
accent.
don't.
I've been going back and forth to New Orleans for years, and everybody there's like Nolans or hey baby. They got that little twang
Yes.
to them.
Yes.
And it's what New Orleans is one of my favorite places in the world. Let me tell you
Really?
that now. Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like I thought I was gonna end up in New Orleans many
Oh.
times years ago, because you know what happens in New Orleans. You wind up eating something.
Yeah.
You meet somebody, you fall in love, and you're just there.
You're there. Yeah.
But one of the things that I learned about people in New Orleans is that they don't leave. They're
They
not
don't.
trying to leave.
No.
They can go through hurricanes. They go through all kind of stuff. People from New Orleans will
That's
tough
their
it out.
hometown.
Now, what is that about? Where does that come from? Like, what energy is that there that says, no, I'm not leaving no matter what? What is that?
I think it's just the love. Everyone is just so loving there and generous, and everyone that comes to New Orleans, they say the same thing. The hospitality is great. So that's the only thing I could see.
I mean, I
Food,
started going,
you know.
because of the Essence Fest, of course,
Yes.
right? And
There's so much going on out there too. So
like every year I was at the Essence Fest, and it was just so much love that was coming there. And then I met so many people from the city, and that city is filled literally with creativity. So I'm not surprised that you're directing.
Yeah.
Now, when did you kind of get the bug for storytelling?
I started writing, I would say I was about 11.
11 years old.
Yeah, when I started writing. And I started up front the camera. And I started up front the camera because I wanted to really direct.
Right.
So to kind of learn and kind of pay attention to how things go.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, I'm ready to direct my own film.
direct.
Yeah.
But
So
you were writing first.
I was writing, yes.
Writing first,
Yes.
storytelling first, but you wanted to be able to showcase what you wanted to showcase
Yes.
in the film. So
In the way I wanted to.
when was the
showcase
first
it.
time that you put a piece together? Like, how old were you?
Um,
Like, were you in high school directing
I was
people?
no, I was 17 when I wrote my first script.
Wow.
I'm still holding on to that one. I haven't even released that. And then maybe I would say 2016, I kind of got everything together, started getting things together, got my cinematographer and my crew, and I shot my first film.
Beautiful.
And then I did another short with the special needs kids.
That's-
haven't
that's
released that
important.
either.
That's really important.
So I'm looking. That's a short film, but I'm looking to release that as well.
Now,
yeah.
when you do your shorts opposed to a long form, why do you not just do a long form film? Why have you done so many shorts? Is it because you're practicing? You're kind of getting your feet wet?
Well, the first one, Abysmal Ties, is I'm actually going to do the full feature of that. So that's why I kind of left it where it is.
Wow.
Hanging. So I am planning on doing the feature for that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm kind of iffy on the one with the special needs because it's so much with dealing with like the Down syndrome and the autistic.
And it may take some
It
time to
takes
get
time,
that film.
yes.
Yeah.
So this shot with the special needs, it took me maybe 3 days, and it's only 8 minutes.
Mhm.
because we had to really take our
course.
time and
Yeah.
patience, so
I know a few directors that tackled that, and it wasn't as easy as they thought it was going
Yeah.
to be.
but I loved it.
Yeah, it's an undertaking, and this story needs to be told. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so much wisdom that can come from you telling that story and people watching it, right?
Yes, yes.
And we need to have that discussion because look, they communicate differently, but they're also brilliant and they're
Brilliant.
sensitive and
Yes.
to things that we've been desensitized to.
Yes.
And I think if anybody had an opportunity to spend time with, people we call special needs, if they could communicate the way we do, they would probably say we have and we are special needs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because
yes.
they pay attention to the things that are really beautiful in life that we forget about or overlook or don't pay attention to.
Yeah, and they're so talented.
Oh,
I give
extremely.
a annual event every year. It's a talent show. It's a Connect With Me talent show.
Yes.
And I give it every year, and it's for the special needs to come out and showcase their talent. And it's been on hold for 2 years because of the pandemic, but I'm starting it back up this year. But they're so talented, like you would not.
So tell us what that day is like doing that.
Oh, I have some of them are coming on singing, some of them are dancing, playing
And
instruments.
probably amazing voices, right?
Amazing. You would, and one of the guys, he's one of the actors in my film, and he's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting. They have quite a few of what we call special needs running the computer systems in the White House.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
saw that,
I
yes.
mean, it's a very interesting, and I forget who it was, but it might have been Netflix.
Okay.
There's a whole, or maybe it wasn't Netflix, but it's a whole series.
It is Netflix.
It is Netflix,
Yes,
right?
Yes. Yeah.
And
On the spectrum.
yeah, on the spectrum, that's
Yes,
it.
yeah.
It's amazing.
It is.
It's amazing. And I couldn't stop watching.
I watched every season too.
I couldn't stop watching.
It's really good.
Beautiful to watch. And again, it made me question myself and ask myself, what's really important? What am I paying attention to?
Yes.
And what do I value? And it's okay to check in with ourselves
Yeah,
because our value systems change all the time.
I agree.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So did you grow up with brothers and sisters?
I have one brother,
Uh-huh.
and he's in California, and he directs too. He does the same.
He's a
thing.
director as well.
He's a director, writer. Same. We do the same thing. He
That's
writes
awesome.
music. I write music. So it's.
Do you have a plan on working together?
I actually have one of his songs in my film,
That's awesome.
and I wrote 2 songs for the film as well. But yeah, we plan on doing some things together.
So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. You keep saying my film. It's called Prisoner of Love. Tell us a little bit about what this movie is about and why you wanted to tell this story.
Actually, okay, the movie is about, it's a drama romance, and it's about different levels of abuse from domestic abandonment issues. And I like to write about things people don't talk about. And there's a twist in this as well, so I can't say too much. But it's real life, and I like to write about what's really going on in life. Because nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
So I try to write about things people don't talk about.
And art imitates life, and life imitates
Yes.
art, doesn't it?
Yes.
And so there seems to be, what goes on in society, and some of the horrific things that happen in society, we're starting to notice that I've seen that in a movie before. And so it makes me wonder if people are copycatting what they saw in the film and then they place it into society.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? It's a very interesting story, I think, that's being told and unfolding. I remember reading a story recently, within the last couple of months, about really hardcore criminals being released in Chicago. And I remember, if you look at Batman, you remember when all the criminals, like the hardcore criminals, were released.
Yes.
And then chaos ensued, right? And I said, this sounds a lot like Batman.
Yep.
Just releasing these hardcore criminals on the street. And, you know, the some of the laws, Newsom, you know, did some work in California. There's some new laws in California that seemingly seem to make sense, because there was a, you know, when people are incarcerated, they charge them for making phone calls in jail.
Okay.
And now those phone calls are free, you know, as of 2023, which to me makes sense. And people need to communicate with people on the outside, and hopefully they've created a system, because I think that can cause chaos inside.
Yes.
When people know that they can make free calls. So hopefully they have developed some type of system to afford the young men and women who unfortunately are incarcerated to be able to have use or time and scheduling of telephone calls. But, you know, you said, and I remember we talked about this on the telephone, how it was important for you to tell the story about dysfunction, or tell the story about abuse. Why is that so important to you, that particular genre?
Because I feel like people are afraid to talk about it if they're going through it. And I know people that's gone through it, and they don't really talk about it. You know, male and female. And I just feel like I said I was going to write a script on it and really get it out there so people can see
And develop
and understand. Yes, and start talking about it.
So is it, would you say it would be more on mental health, or is it, you know, how do we deal with those people who are abusive, the abusers in society, or the abused? Which one?
I wouldn't say it's mental health. I think that's another subject. I would just say they just need counseling, I would say, you know, and that's found again, you know, upon too, counseling.
Yeah.
Which I guess
people don't want to tell their stories.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they're judged.
Or
right?
they're embarrassed.
Or they're embarrassed.
You know?
Yeah. And so let me ask you this. So unfortunately, we just heard that Barbara Walters passed away. And to me, she was one of the best reporters who ever lived. And she asked the really hard questions. And so, you know, in the groove, we believe in asking the hard questions.
Okay.
So let me ask you, number one, if you were an attorney, what type of cases would you want to represent, and why?
I think I would probably choose child cases, child abuse cases, because it's, you know, kids is just so, I just love kids, and I feel like I need to protect them in a sense.
Now, hard question. Were you a child who at some point in time went through some form of abuse? And
No.
So, okay.
No.
Okay.
No. And but I know so many.
You just want to protect the
Yeah,
innocence of children.
it's just so many, and it's so crazy because you see stories where it's parents that's doing it,
Yeah.
to their own kids,
Yeah.
or boyfriends of a parent, of the mother.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy, and I feel like, just like with special needs, you know, I have a soft heart for autistic and Down syndrome kids, and I work with them a lot, and I just love to deal with kids.
And you want to protect them.
Yes.
Yeah, and assist them. So in this movie, because again, you are a storyteller, you directed this film for the masses so people can hear it. What conversation are we going to be having with this film, A Prisoner in Love? Because that's a strong title.
Yeah.
Right? That's a very, very strong title.
It is. You're going to have conversations, I would say, on with the domestic abuse part. You're probably going to have a lot of conversation on that, on who's the abuser, why they're abusing, what went on in their childhood, just and also abandonment issues. A lot of people deal with that, adults, kids, with abandonment issues. And when they get in a relationship, they don't know how to handle it when it's real. So I think we're going to have a lot of conversation on that, people with abandonment issues as well.
You know, it's interesting that when it comes to abandonment, it happens all kind of ways. Like
Yes.
When I was a child,
Mm-hmm.
right? My dad wasn't around. You know, it's the typical story of a lot of African American youth, right? But my mom wasn't around either.
Oh.
And I said, if I was going to be harsh and blame my dad for not being around, then it would be unfair to me to take that position because my mom wasn't around either.
Yes.
Because she had to work,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was cause and effect. So I decided not to be angry at all,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Because dad wasn't around by choice. Mom wasn't around because she had no choice.
Yes.
And so, but to me, that's a form of abandonment
Yes.
because a child who doesn't have his or her parents around has to figure things out on their own.
Yes.
They have to learn right from wrong. And most of the time, they're doing the foolish things because they're learning from their own mistakes.
Yes.
And so when people talk about abandonment, I try to have the conversation with them and let them know that abandonment, it has levels to it.
It
You could
does.
actually be with someone
And feel abandoned.
and feel abandoned as
Yes.
well. You could feel alone,
Yes.
even being with someone because you're either ignored or you're not valued,
Yes.
right? And so these are, I think, I honor you because these are conversations that need to be had because I think it comes from lack of communicating
Yes.
and lack of knowing how to communicate,
Yes.
which more
Exactly. Yes.
is the case with most people because if they feel that they don't know how to communicate properly, they actually judge themselves, so they
Yes.
never communicate.
Exactly.
And it causes them more harm not communicating than if it would if they did communicate at
Yes.
all.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah. So tell us the players in your film.
I have Omar Gooding.
Wait, I got it.
got
That's my man. Who we got next?
Anthony's Henderson.
Come on, we gotta clap it up for him.
Dustin Garrison Jr. and Senior.
All right.
Lauren Hubbard. Rachel Wood.
Rachel's dope.
Yeah, you know
Rachel's
Rachel.
dope.
Yeah,
Rachel's
she's
dope.
sweet.
Rachel. Yeah.
I also have so many of them. Pedro. He's awesome too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're excited. What day is it playing?
It's premiering on February 10th. It's a Friday at the Plaza Theater.
And people can get tickets, right?
I'm going to have release. It's invitation only, but they'll be able to go online once I have my list together,
Okay.
and I'll open it up to the public.
Up to the public.
Yes.
Okay. Because
Yes.
we
and
want
they can
people
go
to know
online
about
and
this.
get the
We're gonna
tickets.
Tell everybody about
Yes.
this movie now.
Yes.
Prisoner of Love, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Omar, right? Omar, that's my man. We did a film together and had a great time. And I'm excited for you because I know how important this film is to you. And I know that we have to have this conversation one more time. Tell them where it is. Tell them what day it is, because once you get your people in there, you're going to open to the public.
Yes.
One more time.
Yes. Prisoner of Love, it will be February 10th, 2023. And it will be at the Plaza Theater.
At the
In
Plaza
Atlanta.
Theater.
Yes.
In Atlanta, you guys. So if you're in the Atlanta area and you want to see an amazing film that will, help you create dialogue with your friends, your family, or even if it's something that has been on your mind that you want to communicate and you want to watch something that can help you, this film is it. And I'm telling you, Michelle puts her foot into this. She cares about what she does, and she cares about people. And again, I honor that.
Thank you.
Michelle Adams, please tell everybody the name of your company.
M. Adams Films.
I mean, I know it, but I want you to tell them.
M. Adams Films.
And please tell them your Instagram and how people can DM you, how they can get scripts to you to direct, how, you know.
You can DM me on IG is M. Adams Films. It's at M. Adams Films. Also, Facebook is M. Adams Films as well. And Twitter, M. Adams Films.
Nice consistency.
Yes.
Other people got them different Twitter, different Facebook, right? But I'm really excited to see this Prisoner of Love and to start and develop the conversation. I'm excited to see what you're going to do. And of course, we're covering it that day.
Yes.
We're going to be on the red carpet. We'll be at the screening. We're going to be covering the movie and everything that's going on.
And the after party.
And the after party. So we're so excited. So please look in that camera and tell everybody about your film and what you want them to know.
Come out. I will be putting a link out soon, probably in about 2 weeks. So I would like you all to come out and, support the film. And I appreciate it.
Michelle Adams, thank you so much.
Thank
Again,
you.
You are so beautiful and so kind and just an amazing human being.
Thank you.
And,
I appreciate that.
Here on the show, we say you go through it to grow through it, to ultimately glow through it.
Yes.
You have been a part of the family business through the watch parties and that group. We've got a great community there.
Yes.
And we've just been building. So we love you, and we're so happy to have you on the In the Group podcast because, now we have over 4 million eyes and ears listening to this and watching this. So we're really excited for everybody to learn more about you and your work.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being with us. Everybody, that's it. That's our time. Michelle Adams, Prisoner of Love, and you have been grooved.